Glen channel. I'm Glen. Just wanted to do a put a ring on a review. Did not get a chance to drop the video on yesterday while I was on live. I decided, you know what, just go ahead and drop your put a ring on it review on, and tell them what your thoughts were on put a ring on the decision day or the do or don't for put a ring on it, right? So here we go. We saw put a ring on it. It would start off with we saw Catherine crying and was in tears, and she was really upset about what was going on with her and Ricky. We saw Catherine, you know, and that's how it ended on a previous episode. And we actually see Catherine. She's boohooing, she's crying, and Catherine says in her, I know who I want to be with. Now, if any of you guys just like me, when I saw this, I'm like, you know what? She's about to choose Marcus. I'm thinking in my head, this girl is about to choose Marcus because you know what? Marcus was treating her right, and Marcus did right by her. So I'm thinking she's choosing Marcus, but no, she says that she's going to choose Ricky, and I could mind you could have bought me for $1. You could have bought me for $1. I'm like, you choose who? And you choose Ricky for what? Like, what you choosing Ricky for? Out of all the guys, I mean, not that I was 100% on Marcus because I thought Marcus had some stuff with him. I really did think Marcus had some issues, right? So I think Marcus was telling her what she wanted to hear, but he was better than Ricky in my opinion. You know, Ricky got this whole other situation going on, this living situation. We got this home situation going on. You know, you come from Dallas, you lose clientele, you crying and all this. Yeah, she cried for Ricky. So she boo-hooing for Ricky. She wants to be with Ricky. And we're gonna see how this plays out because I'm gonna get to a little bit later how it plays out with her and Ricky because it is a whole mess, right? It is a whole mess with Ricky. Boy, it is bad. But we'll get there. We see Zay, man. We see Zay. Zay sits and talks to. We get to the next scene. We see Zay talk to Jasmine's mom, Florence, I believe that's what her name. And they have a great conversation. And mom was like, "Hey, you know," Zay was like, "You know, I want to marry her. I want to do this." And mom was basically like, what took you so long? Why didn't you do this anyway? Why didn't you do it before? Why you drag your feet? Why you drag everybody down this road by giving this girl a promise ring when you could have married her while her daddy was living when she wanted to? You said this multiple times that you want to marry her. Why are you dragging through this? And he was like, look, I basically I wasn't ready. And like I wasn't ready to do so. I wasn't ready to, but this process that we went through, this process with Dr. Stacy has showed me a lot. It showed me where I need to be at. And you know, I'm ready to do what I need to do. Now he wouldn't give mom an answer. She's like, you know, I can't give you that answer because we're on this show. I'm not 100% there yet, right? I can't tell you what I'm going to do, but I like the fact that Zay was willing to meet with her mom, right? Which, you know, if it was up to Jasmine wanted her to meet with the dad and have that conversation, but no, her dad is no longer here. But Zay met with Miss Florence and had a great conversation, right? And at this point, you're thinking, okay, Zay is going to do the right thing. You can see the growth in Zay throughout the show, right? If you watch this show from episode, I think they came on, Zay and Jasmine came episode 3 to where we at now, you can see that Zay and Jasmine really matured, and he really started to get some things even from the other dates that he went on. So he learned some stuff that was there. So as he learned some stuff that was there, we saw that it was going on. I'll get to you, D. We're gonna touch that, D. I got you. And, you know, we see Zay there, and so Zay has the ring, talking to mom, and you know, he's like, Jasmine is everything. He is his everything. I'm gonna stick with them real quick. We see Zay have a nice date plan for Jasmine. He's in his green, she's in her green. He has rented out a building that overlooks the city of Atlanta. He has some good food that's cooked for him. He tells her that they're going out on a date, and they go out on this nice date. The music is hitting, the food is there, the conversation is good. She's basically crying and you know, and talking about the dates, and he talking about what he learned on the dates. He's talking about how Dr. Stacy's helped them, and she basically flat out asked him the question that she had earlier, like, "Why are you playing my heart?" Like, I'm not. When she met with Dr. Stacy, she was like, I won't be 100% sure until I actually see it, because he said this before. He said this multiple times, and I think she said 5 times. Like, Zay has done this like 5 times, and I haven't got what I wanted. I haven't got my ring. I haven't got the proposal that I really want. I got the friendship ring, and she's asking Zay, like, is it, whenever you do it, is it going to be for real? I'm not 100% sure that it's going to be for real. I'm not 100% sure that you're going to do this. Now, the room is decorated with green and sunflowers. You got the rose petals. They look like they got some lobster on the plate. Look like they got some steak on the plate. So I have a great meal. Then he walks her over to this wall and asks the guys to take it off. And this is like, will you marry me? Basically, will you marry me? And it's like, yo, she's looked at it. It's like, oh my God, Zay. And Zay really did his thing. And she broke down in tears and started crying. And so it was a good moment for Zay and Jasmine. I wish them the best. Zay actually pulled the ring out of his pocket and asked her to marry him, and which is good. It wasn't a promise ring, and he said it was a ring that he had before, so it must have been a ring that he had purchased before. And she's like, "Oh, you got my ring?" The ring that he had, probably took back. It was good for them to see. It was good for us to see how Zay has grown in the show. Truth be told, I'm kind of glad that Dunbar and Chance didn't stay on the show. If they had stayed on the show, we would never saw Jasmine and Zay. I mean, I don't know why Jasmine and Zay wasn't cast over Dunbar and Chance, but I think Zay and Jasmine did on the show was good. I think they were definitely what we needed and what we needed to see, unlike Dunbar and Chance. So it's good for me to see. It was good for us to see Zay and Jasmine. Let me know what you think, man. Was Zay and Jasmine better than what Dunbar and Chance could have been? In my heart of heart, I think so. I think it worked out very well for Zay and Jasmine. And again, they really needed it, right? They were the ones who really needed what was going on. And one thing she mentioned during the date that I forgot to mention, that Zay had put all other distractions away, and that's what she wanted him to do. Like, there was no cell phone, there was no nothing. All other distractions were put away, and he was focusing on her, and that's what she always wanted him to do, was to focus on her and listen to her. And Zay, my man Zay, pulled it off, right? He pulled it off without a hitch. She said yes, and to me, I thought it was great for them. It was great for them to have those moments. Great for them to see that. Then we move on. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my man Ricky and Catherine. I'll save Jason and Joya for last. We move on to Ricky and Catherine. They both sat down and have a conversation individually with Dr. Stacy, and basically Ricky was like, "Yo, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, and I hope and I wish some things would work out a little bit better for them." When Catherine speaks to Dr. Stacy, she talks about how she moved from Dallas, right? To how she left her life to come here to be with Ricky. Now there's some things going on. There's some other issues that's going on with her. She's like, this is not what she signed up for. She's been working on herself. She's been working on herself. She's been working on who she is. She's trying to communicate a little bit better. She's trying to be a better person. She's trying to speak her truth. We see Catherine getting better. I think the name that she used, I can't remember, what was it, her alter ego's name, Smokey, right? Try to put Smokey away, and she's trying to heal in a relationship, and she knows that her and Ricky has some communication issues. She understands that her and Ricky has been friends for like forever, childhood friends, and that they're trying to become much more than that and build on her relationship. And Catherine says sometimes she still feel like it's a lost cause, right, with Ricky. And again, unless God confirms in her heart, she feel like it's a lost cause and doesn't want to hear anything from anybody unless for certain with Ricky. Ricky, when he meets with Dr. Stacy, to me, didn't give any clear-cut answers. He know that they still have some issues. They still got some situations they need to work on. Still has some problems they need to fix. So I'm thinking here, man, this dude is going to say no, and Catherine's going to feel like boo-boo the fool, as they would say. So they get to the dinner, right? They get to the dinner. Ricky's smooth and his vest, and he got his red shirt on. Catherine got a red dress on. They get to the dinner. Ricky starts to talk to Catherine, and he says, we've been friends, and I know we've came a long way. We done worked on some things, and we got to the point where we can be cordial, and I understand this process, and I enjoy that we kind of went through the process together. But at the end of the day, and this is where my mouth starts to drop. He's like, I want to still be with you, but I don't think we're ready to be married. And I was like, you know what, Ricky, I get it. I get it. And I'm not telling the brother to marry her. I get it. Because it is, he's not there yet. But at the same time, right, you kind of let this girl along. You knew that you weren't going to marry her. What else does she have to look forward to, right? What else does she have to look forward to? She's living with your parents. You're a baby father to your ex-wife, which you sleep on the couch sometime. And you're not where she needs you to be at. She's a business entrepreneur, business owner, and moving forward. I'm not saying I'm not saying nothing bad about him. These are the facts, but you're not where she needs to be. And I think it's a great decision by him. But at the same time, you let this young lady on for months or for years that you guys been together. To me, marriage was never on the table for him. He has so many things. She has put things on hold for him, and he hasn't done anything to maneuver and move forward for her. The show was great, all that. I mean, it's cool. Ricky is not ready to get married. That's fine, but she's ready, and I don't think Catherine's at 100% ready to marry Ricky. I don't think that relationship is their relationship is toxic. It's real toxic. It is a toxic relationship that is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to end very well for neither one of them. It is going to be a bad relationship that Ricky and Catherine is in. It is a bad relationship, and I think they both need to go their separate ways. She still, even though he said no, he's not going to marry her, didn't ask her to marry him, she felt disappointed, but she's still going to stay with Ricky. Like, okay, you stay with him, but what are y'all working on, right? What are you going to work on? How is it going to get better? And I think that's the answer I didn't hear when he said no, or when he couldn't even explain to her how it's going to get better. Like, what's what's going to get better about their relationship? How is it going to get better? I agree they shouldn't get married. I'm guys in the chat, I totally agree they shouldn't get married. Ricky let her down easily. But if y'all gonna stay, if Catherine and Ricky's gonna stay with each other, how are you going to make it better? She was disappointed. She was upset, and rightfully so, right? You got rejected on national television. It's like somebody asking you to marry them at a baseball game or an NBA game, and then when they get to the end, they were like, "Nah, I ain't married." You know, so she's affected. She's affected by that. Man, it's a lot because she has been let down by a lot of guys in her life, right? Her dad hasn't always been there. Her past relationship boyfriends haven't always been there. Ricky has or hasn't been there sometimes. And I'm wondering, what's going through Catherine's mind at this point. Is she thinking like, dang, I should have chose Marcus? Should I selected Marcus to be the guy that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how else to say it, but Catherine was upset. She's very it's not working well. It's not going to work out. And I think the decision that Ricky made was a great decision for him. I really do think it was a great decision that him and Catherine are not ready to get married. They need some more help. They need to sit down with Dr. Stacy some more and work through some more things. And like where we're gonna live at, like who's gonna pay bills, what kind of job you're gonna have, things of that nature, in order to get married. Being friends is fine, but Catherine needs to move out of that house immediately. She needs to go somewhere else, and still, if she wants to still stay in a relationship with Ricky, that's fine. But she needs to go find her own spot, her own place, and do what needs to be done in her relationship, right? Then we go to Jasha and Joya. Jasha sits down and meets with Joya's dad, who's been married for 41 years. And they started having a man conversation. He said he wanted to have a conversation with her dad. And he basically tells his dad, you know how much I love Jasha. I mean, how much I love Joya, how much I care for Joya, how much I want to be with Joya. Dad talks about being in marriage and having kids. And that's something that Jasha and Joya is going to have to continue to work through in their relationship. Where, sometimes parents want grandkids and they have a kid, but they want to work on other issues in other areas. I think Jason and Joya in that aspect will have to communicate well. I think Jasha has showed throughout the whole process, right, that he cares for Joya. He wanted Joya. She's the type of woman that he cares for, that he likes. It's not about dropping it like a hot like Brittany. It's not all the other women that he went to. He didn't need another real estate girl. He wants Joya, and he has found. I think he's gotten to the place where he realized that Joya wants nice things, but she doesn't want him to spend on money. She wants the simple things in life that comes from the heart, that is creative, and that he needs to do that and find more attention to her. And again, I think sometimes we forget that he does have a child, she does have a child. They don't have anything together, and Jason's marriage messed up when he was younger because he got married when he was younger. So I think that's some of the issues that he's dealing with as well. Like when I got married, a child came into it, and then boom, it didn't work out. And so now he wants to be able to not reconnect, but he wants to be able to marry Joya, and they want to do it on a time frame. He doesn't want to be controlled by when it happens and how it happens. He wants to be able to have it flow naturally and organically, like Dr. Stacy said. So we find that after he talks to her dad, which I thought was a great conversation, you can see they appreciate and respect one another, which is good. I think when I got married, I asked Jackie's dad, could I take her hand in marriage? And what's funny was he said, "What took so long?" Right? He said, "I've been waiting for you to ask for a long time. Like, what took so long?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, man. My bad, sir. My bad, Dr. Holmes. I just don't know what took so long, right?" But anyway, I think I still believe in that old school type thing when you ask the father, "Can you take his daughter hand in marriage?" So we see that. We see Joya and Jasha go out on a nice romantic picnic, right? She said, "I've been wanting Jasha to take me on a picnic for a whole time." He had the whole basket in his hand. They put the stuff on the table. They started talking about the process and the things that they went in through in the process, started laughing about Brittany and her twerking and dropping it like it's hot. They started, and the conversation with them has been so good. You can see why Dr. Stacy kind of rocked with Joya and Jasha because they have that connection, right? It's that connection that you see with them. They are a good couple. You can see how they interact with each other. They speak very well with each other. They talk to each other with great respect and dignity, and they are a couple that you see. They start hearing music, right? There's some music start playing in the background. He talks about a song, that's playing in the background. She's like, "You hear that? You hear that music?" And the camera switched over to the Caucasian folks or the white people that were sitting there with them. I'm like, "Man, they ain't playing." I'm thinking one of them was rapping or something, right? That was getting there and they was having a conversation. But again, music is playing. She turns around. He has a ring in his hand and asks her, "Will you marry? Basically, will you marry me?" And she is so happy and so excited. And she said, "Yes." That they're going to get married. I don't think anybody saw anything different with Joya and Jasha, right? That you knew they were going to get engaged. I think they're going to stay engaged. I hope they don't stay engaged for long. I hope they, the wedding is kind of quick. Yeah, none of these couples stay engaged for long. I think long engagements give room for error, right? I think when you have an opportunity where you're getting ready to marry somebody and you know that this is who the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, I think you do that. You take that time, you spend time with each other, you set the date, you set the time, the venue, and go ahead and get married. It doesn't have to be long engagement whatsoever. So only time would tell. They still rock with each other, and I rock with them. I think their story on this show was pretty good, even though she has found some guys that it made Jasha change who he was, in a sense of listening to his now fiance, right? He came in with an open mind to listen to the fiance to get better. He was a little intimidated by some of the guys, and he made say he wasn't, but some of the guys made him sway a little bit and made him change his mind about what he needed to do in order to keep his woman. So he was able to keep her. The picnic idea, the whole giving to the ring was great and romantic. I do too, D. I really enjoy seeing Jasha and Joya this season. They were one of the that was a highlight to me for the season. They were the couple that I really want to see because you saw the emotion between them. You saw the love that they had. You saw the compassion that they had. So I think Jasha and Joya, for me, was the highlight of the season. Second by Zay and Jasmine, and then Ricky and Catherine, which you just knew they wasn't going to work, right? You just knew that Ricky and Jasmine wasn't going to rock with each other. And Ricky and Catherine wasn't going to rock with each other. You could see what, y'all two may be better friends than lovers, but Jasha and Joya, my hats off to them. I hope all works well for them. And I hope everything continues to flow in the way that they need. I enjoyed Dr. Stacy in this season. All right. I know some of you guys didn't, why they bring Dr. Stacy in. I enjoyed it. I think she's a little bit real. She brings a little bit of street with her, and she's very authentic. And I think that's why Dunbar and Chance couldn't get with it. With her, because she was holding you accountable, and I think she held all the couples accountable, and she showed the compassionate side, and she also showed the rough side to the process, and she reminded them what the process was all about and why they needed to go to the process. So, Dr. Stacy, hey, if they bring her back for another season, I'm down with it. I can rock with her, but I think this was it was well needed. I think the episode was well needed. I think Zay needs to continue to do the work because we've seen the progression. So Zay and Jasmine, I think they need to continue to go to counseling. I think they need to continue to have somebody in his ear and somebody telling him, "Hey, Zay, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do," so he can enhance their relationship. Zay is one of those guys. If you tell him, and this is going to work, it'll work. He loves Jasmine. You can see that he loves her. But I think he needs somebody, a mentor or a counselor, somebody behind him to keep that relationship going. So I don't know if they do that after the show, if Dr. Stacy is employable by them, right? But I do. Dr. Nicole, I love Dr. Nicole as well, man. But Dr. Stacy was good too. I love both of them. I think Dr. Nicole and Dr. Stacy both have their strengths. I think they both have the way they communicate with the participants, and I wouldn't mind if both of them was together on a different season so they can rock together. I mean, not like Married at First Sight, but I wouldn't mind seeing Dr. Stacy and Dr. Nicole both on the show take a couple or two and pour into them. So these couples who are having these long engagements, these couples who have these issues, who are waiting 4 or 5 years to get married or 3 or 4 years to get married, can actually move towards that. I think if a guy hasn't married you in 5 years, it's time to move on, in my opinion, because he knows. I mean, a guy knows right away if you want to marry a person or not. A guy knows. You want to know if you want to spend your rest of your life with this woman. You know that from get-go. And you don't have to wait 3 or 4 or 5 years to figure it out or get on a TV show to do it. You know what it is. But that's just my thoughts, man. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below about this season of Put a Ring on It. The reunion look like it's going to be on fire, right? The reunion look like it's going to be hot. We see Marcus there. We see Sheila there. We see Marcus stand up. It seems like he's about to give Catherine a ring. We don't know. Ricky's there, and we see all kind of things that's going on. Let's see if Zay and Jasmine are still together, still married. Let's see if Joya and Jasha are still rocking with each other as well. So, hey, stay here. I probably will continue to do Put a Ring on It reviews up until the end of the season, till all the reunions are done. We'll see see if you like it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell notification. Also, check out our Married at First Sight reviews. Check out any other reviews that we drop. Again, we might be doing some other shows. The one with Kurt Franklin and Tammy Franklin. So check those out as well. Appreciate for all those in the chat. Thanks for rocking with me. Thank you guys. You guys have a great night. Enjoy. And thanks for letting me review Put a Ring on It. Appreciate you. You have a good one. And peace.